Hey everybody, my name is Forbes Riley, and I'm an American actress and a TV host. And I was delighted when I got my copy of Missing, which is Extraordinary Relation of Ordinary People based on a real-life relationship. It's well written. It's amazing. You know, it talks about a man who has lost his wife and his daughter, and it's very well done. I'm going to highly recommend that you go get your copy of Missing. It is a powerful, exciting read. Mr. Mian Moshe Zia. He is the author of Missing. And I want to give a big shout out and a kiss all the way halfway around the world to my dear friend. Check him out at Mia's website. It's called www.miamoshenzea.com. Missing, available on Amazon. Again, I'm Forbes Riley, and I will see you again soon. Bye-bye.
The Mike Wagner Show is powered by Sonic Web Studios. If you're looking to start or upgrade your online presence, visit www.sonicwebstudios.com for all of your online needs. Sonic Web Studios specializes in custom web design, app development, social networking, search engine optimization, domain registration, email marketing, online stores, and more. Since our birth, we have been designing and developing immaculate websites and providing web solutions which are a cut above the rest. As a leading web designing enterprise, we have a team of extremely talented web designers who are well-focused and have the experience of working on multiple web developing platforms such as PHP, Magento, Custom WordPress, and more. Sonic Web Studios has been helping businesses of all kinds, whether big, small, established, or startup, impress their audiences with exemplary web solutions. We don't just create beautiful and functional websites. We give you a complete online solution with the main goal of enhancing your yearly revenues. We aim to give your business the online exposure and brand acknowledgement that will help you in achieving increased conversions leading to profitable sales. Call 1-800-303-3960 or visit us online at www.sonicwebstudios.com to get started today. Mention the Mike Wagner Show and get 20% off your project. Sonic Web Studios. Take your image to the next level.
Hey everybody, it's Mike from the Mike Wagner Show. It's time to give a shout out to our official sponsor of the Mike Wagner Show, international award-winning author Mian Moshe Zia. If you love fast-paced mysteries, then you'll love Missing by Mian Moshe Zia. Available on Amazon in paperback and ebook. Missing is fast-paced and intriguing with an unforgettable twist. It takes place in 4 countries with 2 strangers and 1 target where truth is an illusion and those you love will be the first to go missing. It's available in paperback and ebook on Amazon. Missing by Mian Moshe Zia has garnered great reviews and is even loved by Hollywood celebrities including Joanna Cassidy, Forbes Riley, and many others. So grab your copy today. Order Missing by Mian Moshe Zia, now available at Amazon.
It's now time for the Mike Wagner Show, powered by Sonic Web Studios. Visit online at sonicwebstudios.com for all your needs. The Mike Wagner Show can be heard on Spreaker, Spotify, iHeartRadio, YouTube, iTunes, Anchor FM, Radio Public, and the MikeWagnerShow.com. Mike brings you great guests and interesting people from all across the globe. So sit back, relax, and enjoy another great episode of the Mike Wagner Show.
Hey everybody, it's Mike from the Mike Wagner Show, powered by Sonic Web Studios. Visit online at sonicwebstudios.com for all your needs. Looking at a professional website without breaking your budget? Sonic Web Studios is the answer. Sonic Web Studios offers fast, affordable, custom web designs at below the competition rate. Call today, 1-800-303-3960. That's 1-800-303-3960. Or email to support@sonicwebstudios.com. Mention the Mike Wagner Show, get 20% off your first project. Sonic Web Studios, take your image to the next level. Also, time to give a shout out to our official sponsor of the Mike Wagner Show, international award-winning author Mian Moshe Zia. If you love fast-paced mysteries, you'll love Missing by Mian Moshe Zia, available on Amazon in paperback and ebook. Missing is fast-paced and intriguing with an unforgettable twist. It takes place in 4 countries, 2 strangers, and 1 target, where truth is an illusion and those you love be the first to go missing. It's available on paperback and ebook on Amazon. Missing by Mian Moshe Zia has garnered great reviews and even loved and endorsed by Hollywood celebrities, including Joanna Cassidy, Forbes Riley, and many others. So grab your copy today of 4 Goes Missing by Mian Moshe Zia, available on Amazon. Also, the Mike Wagner Show can be heard on the MikeWagnerShow.com. You can check our Facebook page at facebook.com/the Mike Wagner Show. You can download and listen on Facebook, SoundCloud, Spreaker, Spotify, and iHeartRadio. Also on Anchor FM, iTunes, Google Play, Amazon, Audible, and Apple. Coming soon to Podbean, Buzzsprout, Pandora, and TuneIn. Heard worldwide on Geo 7, Radio Public, Himalaya, and more. Take The Mike Wagner Show with you on any mobile device. Subscribe to The Mike Wagner Show on the YouTube channel, and follow The Mike Wagner Show on Instagram and Twitter today. And don't forget to support The Mike Wagner Show at themikewagnershow.com, and also just go to our PayPal as well too to donate and support, and also go to Anchor FM/support. For some really cool gift ideas, go to Amazon.com/The Mike Wagner Show, and for great books by me and Moshe Zia and more, go to Amazon.com/me and Moshe Zia and order today. We're here with a terrific author from Beacon Publishing. He's currently in Houston. He was in the advertising business for 45 years, worked with the big names, and won 2 national Emmys. He also was known for doing the Volkswagen Rabbit campaign, and one of my favorite cars back in the day. Graduated from California State University, Los Angeles, an alum of the Arts Center of Design, and originally from the Windy City, has been all over the place, and he's got a couple of books out, and his first was Blood of the Beast, and we'll be talking about a second one, The Strange and Curious Cases of Roscoe Brown from Beacon Publishing, and live, ladies and gentlemen, from the Plus Studios in beautiful downtown Houston, the very, very multi-talented author of The Strange and Curious Cases of Roscoe Brown from Beacon Publishing, M. Ward Leon, or should we call him Mike? Mike, good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Thanks for joining us today.
Well, I really appreciate you having me, Mike. I've listened to a bunch of your podcasts recently, and I'm excited to be a part of it.
Well, I'm very glad you did, and we can talk about what you listened to, and of course, be honest about it, but that's off the air, of course. So, and of course, you're currently in Houston. You were born and raised in Chicago, and you've been in advertising for 45 years with all the big names, of course, from the Mad Men era. You won 2 national Emmys, and you're known for the Volkswagen Rabbit campaign, one of my favorites, by the way. You graduated from California State University, Los Angeles, and alum of the Arts Center of Design. You also have a couple of books. Your first one was Blood of the Beast, and the second one from Beacon Publishing, The Strange and Curious Cases of Roscoe Brown. And before we get into all that, tell us how I first got started, Mike.
For Roscoe Brown, I wanted to do a detective story that was a little offbeat, and so I decided to go to, of all places, New York, but instead of going to New York City like so many others do, I decided to take a little right turn and go to Coney Island. So my detective, Roscoe Brown, is a bit of a holdover from the Jack Webb, Joe Friday. This story takes place in the 60s. Mm-hmm. And so it's that time of era where you're going from the old school cops to the new modern cops. And Roscoe's kind of caught in between there. And because his cases take place at Coney Island, they're a little more offbeat. And the bad guys are a little quirkier, and they're just as bad and evil, but some of the things they do and some of the cases he comes up against are just a little not to be expected.
Mm-hmm. Yes, and of course, going back to the days as well, too, and I see the thing about, like, with Dragnet, just like you mentioned, what was it, Sergeant Friday, I still think of just the facts, ma'am, just the facts.
Exactly. And that's kind of what Roscoe was brought up on, being that type of police officer who's really a no-nonsense guy. The whole concept of DNA has not been yet introduced, so he's doing the old school detective work, and the Miranda rights have just started coming out, so the police are dealing with that whole thing. So it's just kind of a turn of the page of old school police detective work and coming into the new era of the CSI kind of detective work.
Mm-hmm. And what inspired you to write The Strange and Curious Cases of Roscoe Brown, and especially the old-time detective style as well, too, going from the Jack Friday of Dragnet over to the modern-day CSI. What inspired you to get into that classic genre?
Well, I've always enjoyed the old bogey kind of movies where, the Big Sleep and, the Maltese Falcon. But I didn't want to get into the 40s. I wanted to be a little more up-to-date, a little more current, but I didn't want to go into the 80s and 90s and 2000s. So I figured the 60s was kind of a turbulent kind of time, in America, not just because of the Vietnam, but because of, again, science was really starting to take off at the time, and police science was really kind of changing the way they were doing things. And I just figured, I'd have a little more latitude because of all the things that were going on in the 60s.
Mm-hmm. And how is police science changing, as you had mentioned? How is it changing?
Well, of course they had the old school fingerprints and all that, but like I mentioned, DNA was unheard of at the time in 1964, and so the real true forensic science was just starting to bud. Things were really starting to happen because science was really starting to take. We had the moonshot and all that, and that was kind of the upsurge of science in America. It really kind of brought science to the forefront, and so that happened also in the police, in police sciences as well.
Mm-hmm. And what was the public reaction to the DNA when it was first discovered? It can be used in detective or police work, like, say, arresting somebody, convicting, charging. What was the public's first reaction when it came to DNA being introduced in 1964 for forensics?
Well, it's such a new thing. People were skeptical of it. People, how could this happen? How can you take somebody's human hair and divine who this particular person is? There's billions of people in the world, and you can pick that particular person. It was almost unheard of. It was unheard of. So people were very skeptical of it at the time, and the police even weren't all that sure of the true, scientific facts of it, being able to prove it. And it just happened that around that same time was the first cloning of sheep, and so the whole scientific world was like out of control as far as all these new technologies and things happening.
Mm-hmm. And of course, too, you had in the book as well, too, with Roscoe Brown, that cases involve serial killers, psychos, assassins, and Nazis and everything like that. There's also the dark underbelly of evil, depravity, and murder as well, too, and take place around Coney Island and more. And how is that compared to today? Like, at today's Coney Island, or maybe you touched on police work, say, from the 80s, 90s, and 2000.
Well, Coney Island today is, everybody thinks of it as the playground of the world. At least that's what it was touted as. They had the big Ferris wheel, and they had, of course, a Cyclone roller coaster, which is an old school wooden clackety-clack roller coaster. And today, because of the economics and all that, and urban movement and things, it hasn't changed that much as far as crime is concerned. There are still pockets, of course, like anywhere in America. One neighborhood is safe, two neighborhoods over, high crime. So Coney Island hasn't escaped that, but I don't think it's as bad as it was in the 50s and 60s because of the whole drug culture going on back then as well.
Mm-hmm. And also, too, it had some, cases as well, too, like you mentioned in the book, or maybe just hit upon some of the few cases that's mentioned as well, too. It can be a more common one. It can be a really unusual one that can just, get the listeners to read.
Yeah. Well, two of the ones that I really kind of enjoyed doing was the very first one, which is called The Case of the Mad Hatter. And it's basically based upon takes place in 1962 when John F. Kennedy was killed, and it's my interpretation of who is really behind the assassination of John Kennedy. We all know that Lee Harvey Oswald was definitely involved, but in my story, I bring upon the fact that John Kennedy was the first president who never wore a hat at his inauguration. He wore it to the inauguration, but he didn't wear it during the inauguration. And after that, fact or fiction, men stopped wearing hats.
Really?
The fedoras and the top hats and the bowlers and all that. So in my story, there's a little twist of the manufacturers, the hat industry has a little hand in the assassination of John Kennedy. So Roscoe gets caught up in that whole thing and tries to figure out, through Coney Island, because there is a connection in the book of John Lee Harvey Oswald and the hat manufacturers of New York. So that has a little twist to it, and just a little oddball story to it.
Huh. Go ahead.
Yeah, and my second favorite story in my book is there's a connection, because it takes place in the 60s, and there's still prevalent Nazi war criminals in the United States. And I have in my story that 2 Nazi war criminals are discovered in Coney Island, or in Manhattan, and there's a Coney Island connection. And a fun thing I did within this particular story is use a bunch of palindromes, which, as you well know, it's words and names that are spelled forwards and backwards that spell the same, like Otto, and Anna,
or radar,
like or radar,
or taco cat.
There you go. And so it's I throw that in. I don't make a big deal about it, but it's just there for if people connect to it and find it. It's a little clue thing that I threw in there. So I think it's kind of a fun story. And a lot of the facts that I put in there, especially about these Nazi war criminals that are in my book, come from actual stories, historical facts of the Holocaust and things like that. So, it's a fun book. It's lighthearted, but the people who are the bad guys are truly bad guys.
Mm-hmm. And it also has in there, too, everything from a murdering polygamist to a street gang cross-dressing killer. It kind of makes me think of Batman, too. It's just like, okay, what's next here? You got the Mad Hatter, and, of course, you probably have a modern-day Joker and maybe like a colored penguin, or we have the Pink Panther, and let's see, what else?
Yeah, exactly. So, each case is a little different. Each character is a little different. But the main theme that goes through there is our main character, Roscoe Brown, and his partner, Jimmy Walsh, who are steadfast and true. They stay true to the law. Sometimes they might step over the line just to squeak, but they're always the hero, heroic, square jaw, all-American boy.
Mm-hmm. And that sounds like most people as well, too. And we'll also talk about your earlier book as well, too, and your career in advertising. But first, listen to The Mike Wagner Show at themikewagnershow.com, powered by Sonic Web Studios. Visit online at sonicwebstudios.com for all your needs. Look at a professional website without breaking your budget. Sonic Web Studios is the answer. Sonic Web Studios offers fast, affordable custom web designs that blow the competition away. Call today, 1-800-303-3960. It's 1-800-303-3960, or email to support@sonicwebstudios.com. Mention the Mike Wagner Show, get 20% off your first project. Sonic Web Studios, take your image to the next level. Also, time to give a shout out to our official sponsor of the Mike Wagner Show, international war-winning author Mia Mohsen-Zia. If you love fast-paced mysteries, you'll love Missing by Mia Mohsen-Zia. Available on Amazon in paperback and ebook. Missing is fast-paced and intriguing with an unforgettable twist. Takes place in 4 countries, 2 strangers, and 1 target, where truth is an illusion and those you love be the first to go missing. It's available on paperback and ebook on Amazon. Missing by Mia Mohsen-Zia has garnered great reviews and even loved and endorsed by Hollywood celebrities, including Joanna Cassidy, Forbes Riley, and many others. So grab your copy today before it goes missing by Mia Mohsen-Zia, available on Amazon. Also, The Mike Wagner Show can be heard on themikewagnershow.com. You can check our Facebook page at facebook.com/The Mike Wagner Show. You can download and listen on Facebook, SoundCloud, Spreaker, Spotify, and iHeartRadio. Also on Anchor FM, iTunes, Google Play, Amazon, Audible, and Apple. Coming soon to Podbean, Buzzsprout, Pandora, and TuneIn. Heard worldwide on Geo 7, Radio Public, Himalaya, and more. Take The Mike Wagner Show with you on any mobile device. Subscribe to The Mike Wagner Show on the YouTube channel. And follow The Mike Wagner Show on Instagram and Twitter today. And also support The Mike Wagner Show at themikewagnershow.com. You can also check out Anchor FM/support, PayPal. And also for cool merchandise ideas, go to Amazon.com/The Mike Wagner Show. And for more books by Mia Mohsen-Zia and other goodies, go to Amazon.com/Mia Mohsen-Zia and order today. We're here with author of The Strange and Curious Cases of Roscoe Brown, M. Ward Leon, here on The Mike Wagner Show, courtesy of Beacon Publishing. And before we talk about your first book, Blood of the Beast, you've been in advertising for 45 years. You also won 2 national Emmys. You're also known for creating the Volkswagen Rabbit campaign, which is one of my favorites, one of my favorite vehicles to drive in, believe it or not. And tell us all about that.
Well, it was they were just moving away from the beetle. They still had the beetle, but they wanted to diversify and be a little more cosmopolitan. So they came out with the rabbit, they came out with the Dasher, and they came out with the Scirocco. And the rabbit was the economical car, kind of like the beetle. The Dasher was the family car, kind of like a station wagon, and the Scirocco was the kind of sporty sedan. And so I worked with the great group of people at Doyle Dane Bernbach who did the original Think Small and Lemon ads for the Volkswagen Beetle. And one of the ads we did for Rabbit was a testimonial. We found a guy whose last name was Costello. He was a wedding photographer, and our ad was Rabbit and Costello.
Rabbit and Costello. I've never heard of that. That's good. Oh, my goodness. Rabbit and Costello.
Yeah. Those are the wacky days of advertising.
And, of course, you also worked with as in the Mad Men era as well, too. It's not the Mad Men you think of Charlie Sheen, but you just came up with everything imaginable. Rabbit, Costello, and what else?
Well, we did some for Jetta, which was another vehicle that Volkswagen came out with. They had all our best ideas in one car, and that's what they did a kind of a hybrid, one of the original hybrids of the Rabbit, the Dasher, and the Scirocco, and they put all those features into one car. And so we did things like how to fit 4 cars in a one-car garage. It was a Volkswagen Jetta. So we had a lot of fun doing things like that, and the Rabbit and Costello ad actually got inducted into the Smithsonian Advertising Archives here in Washington, D.C.
Oh, amazing!
So So we, it was a great time to be in advertising. Everything was based on an idea back then, and a big idea, and it was one of the best thing I could have done was be in advertising. Somebody once said, it's the most fun you can have with your clothes on. And that's the truth.
Unless you're working at a news resort. That's another story.
Yeah, well, that's another story. That's right.
He also won 2 national Emmys as well, too, and tell us a bit about that with those feathers in the cap.
Well, the first one I won, both of them were for public service commercials. One was for Don't Drink and Drive. And that one, if you visualize, you open up on a 1,600-pound grizzly bear, and he's just sleeping. He's got his head rested on his hands. And then you cut away, and you see 2 feet walking, or guys walking in loafers on like a forest grounds. And you cut back and forth to the bear, to the guy walking to the bear, and eventually you see the man walking right up to the bear. And the bear's still laying there, not paying attention to the man. And the guy rears his leg back and kicks the bear in the head.
Oh!
And then starts running. And the bear growls, and the guy starts hauling off. And as he's running away, the announcer goes, yeah, makes as much sense as driving drunk. And then you see this guy hauling butt out of there. And we had an actual 1,600-pound grizzly bear. And, of course, the guy didn't really kick him in the head. But what was funny was when the bear growled, the close-up of him growling, what happened was off camera there was one of his trainers holding a big, gigantic spoon of salmon, and the bear reared his head up so the person could feed salmon into his mouth.
Oh, my goodness.
Yeah. So that was the first one we won for Don't Drink and Drive. And the second one I did was Don't Text and Drive. And what we did was we actually shot in a Chicago morgue, and we had character actors playing dead people. And so what would open up is you'd have two morgue workers in the morgue, and there was this body bag, and all of a sudden you hear this tap, 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 and one of the men unzips the body bag, and there'd be this woman, and she's dead. You can tell her makeup makes her look dead, and she's typing on a her iPhone,
Oh my!
texting messages, and the guy goes, "Are you still doing that?" And she goes, "Oh, I got to pick up my daughter at the school, and I got to get the dry cleaning and all this other stuff." And he goes, "You know, it's because of that. You didn't see the going into the 4-lane highway in that truck." And she goes, "Oh, you know, I got to get to my daughter." And he takes her phone away, and then she becomes dead.
Oh, wow.
And then guy zips her back up. And we did 3 of those. We did one with a man who was a business guy trying to get to a meeting, and one with this young teenager trying to text his girlfriend because they were going to go to the prom. And then each time the man takes their phone away from him, and then they actually turn dead, you know. So
wow.
That was pretty powerful as well. I'm really proud of that one because that was all done on everybody donated the time for that. Nobody got paid for it. The actors, we got the morgue to donate the space for us, the director, and everybody donated the time to get these commercials done as a public service.
That is so amazing. And of course, you know, you talk about not being dead. When they text me, you think of that Monty Python skit in Monty Python and Holy Grail. I'm not dead. I'm
That's
getting back to. Oh my gosh! Yeah, I mean that's just really creative stuff. I gotta say that. And
thank you.
And going in from advertising for 45 years, you go into writing. And before we talk about the Blood of the Beast, your first book, and then you'll go into The Strange and Curious Case of Roscoe Brown by Beacons and Publishing. We're here with M. Ward Leon on the Mike Wagner Show. And tell us about the transition going from advertising for 45 years into writing, and what inspired you to make the switch?
Well, what happened was when I first got into advertising, I was what they called an art director. I would work with a copywriter, and we'd come up with visuals and layouts and things like that. But as my career spent more time in my career, I found that I would be more and more doing TV commercials, and I'd be writing dialogue, and I'd be writing scenarios and things like that. And so it became very easy to develop a complete story, beginning, a middle, and an ending in 30 seconds. And so, you know, there came a time towards the end of my career where I could see myself easing out of advertising. And, you know, Mike, I don't play golf. I don't garden. So I had to figure out something to do, you know. So I thought one thing I could do is I had this idea for the story. And so I began to write it, and it took me about 2 years. And I'm the type of writer, somebody once said there are 2 types of people who write novels. One is like a classical conductor. He knows everything from beginning to middle to end, and he plots it all out. He does an outline, and he knows all the characters and what they're going to do and everything. And then there's the other kind of writer, which I'm that school of, is kind of like a jazz artist. You know, you just kind of wing it, you improv, you never know where it's going to go until it takes you there. And that's kind of how I began my writing thing. So that particular book, my first book, Blood of the Beast, took about 2 years to write. Once I kind of figured out that's the kind of writer I am, Roscoe took me like 8 months to write. Because I got my system down, you know, and I kind of felt freer to just kind of let the story take me where it goes. And so that's how I transitioned from advertising to I'm still telling stories, but now I tell it in a book in 200, 300 pages rather than 30 seconds.
And of course, you're really good at that as well, too. And let's talk more about Blood of the Beast, and it's going out the big oil and more. And tell us about your first book and what it's all about.
Well, I was kind of came about when I was seeing all these stories on Facebook and in magazines and things about big game hunters and poaching of these exotic animals and things. And it just kind of really bothered me personally. And I know that, you know, I don't speak to everybody in my beliefs about big game hunting, but I'm kind of, you know, I don't understand the whole point of killing an elephant just so you can get your picture taken with the elephant there. So this kind of brought a story out in me, and I decided to come up with a a group of international terrorists or eco-terrorists who were originally formed to take on big oil companies and mining companies who are, leave the earth worse than it was when they started it. So I decided to come up with a group of people. They happen to be French. They started out in France. These two brothers were inspired by an American author named Edward Abbey, who wrote a fabulous book called The Monkey Wrench Gang.
Uh-huh.
And I'm sorry?
No, go ahead.
Oh, and they decided to emulate their name. They took the name of their group, and pardon my French, literally, is La Gang de la Clé de Sage, which means the Monkey Wrench Gang. Mm-hmm. And so what they do is they're a band of, like I say, eco-terrorists, or they call themselves eco-warriors, and they go after big game hunters. They go after poachers. They go after anybody who trades in trafficking wildlife products, ivory, and things like that. And it's kind of a action adventure story. There are a bunch of characters, and the thing about the people in this organization is they never use their original names. They take on pseudonyms. Like one of the guys is named Rodin, and there's another man named Iceman, and there's people named the Cowboy, and they take these names. So if they get captured, all they know is I don't know John Smith. All I know is a guy named Iceman, or I know a guy named Rodin. So it's it kind of keeps them intrigued. The other thing that they do, and it's kind of a finger in the eye to police, is every time they commit a crime or they get even with somebody, they leave a single perfect fingerprint of a famous person who's deceased.
Wow.
One person might leave the police might find a fingerprint of Elvis Presley, or they might find a fingerprint of Teddy Roosevelt. Just to kind of play with the law enforcement's head. They just kind of like tweak them all the time, and so very rarely do they ever get caught, because if somebody gets captured, they only capture that one person and not anybody else in the gang. And they go after not only they go after whalers, the Japanese whalers, like Sea Shepherd did with Whale Wars. They go after people who do traffic in ivory, rhino horns. They go to the Galapagos Islands. They go everywhere, all over the world. They go up to the Antarctic, where people are hunting polar bears and things like that. So it's just this international group of people who just go around, and it's a multinational organization. And if you like, it's kind of an action adventure with good guys who are actually bad guys who are actually good guys. You might like this story.
That is so amazing. And where can we find Blood of the Beast and the Strange and Curious Cases of Roscoe Brown at?
They are at Amazon. They're on Audible. You can go to my website, mwardland.com. And if you buy a book from me, I'll personally autograph it. And I donate a percentage of all sales to the World Wildlife Federation.
That is very amazing. I'm very happy for that. And what's coming up next for M. War Leon? We'll find out in just... Actually, we'll find in just 1 minute. Calm down. I know I got the rabbit going. First of all, you listen to The Mike Wagner Show at themikewagnershow.com, powered by Sonic Web Studios. Visit online at sonicwebstudios.com for all your needs. Also brought to you by our official sponsor of The Mike Wagner Show, international award-winning author Mia Moshenzia of Missing, available on Amazon paperback and ebook. We'll be back with author M. War Leon of Beacon Publishing after this timeout.
The Mike Wagner Show is powered by Sonic Web Studios. If you're looking to start or upgrade your online presence, visit www.sonicwebstudios.com for all of your online needs. Call 1-800-303-3960 or visit us online at www.sonicwebstudios.com to get started today. Mention The Mike Wagner Show and get 20% off your project. Sonic Web Studios. Take your image to the next level.
Hey everybody, my name is Forbes Riley, and I'm an American actress and a TV host. And I was delighted when I got my copy of Missing, which is Extraordinary Relation of Ordinary People based on a real life relationship. It's well written. It's amazing. You know, it talks about a man who has lost his wife and his daughter, and it's very well done. I'm going to highly recommend that you go get your copy of Missing. It is a powerful, exciting read. Mr. Mian Moshe Zia. He is the author of Missing. And I want to give a big shout out and a kiss all the way halfway around the world to my dear friend. Check him out at Mia's website. It's called www.miamoshenzea.com. Missing, available on Amazon. Again, I'm Forbes Riley, and I will see you again soon. Bye-bye.
Hey everybody, it's Mike from The Mike Wagner Show. The Mike Wagner Show can be heard on over 30 podcast platforms, including Facebook, SoundCloud, Spreaker, Spotify, iHeartRadio, Anchor FM, iTunes, Google Play, Amazon, Audible, Apple, and more. Coming soon to Podbean, Buzzsprout, Pandora, and TuneIn, where The Mike Wagner Show interviews great guests, cool conversation, lots of laughs, coffee, and more. Take The Mike Wagner Show with you on any mobile device. Subscribe to The Mike Wagner Show on the YouTube channel, and follow The Mike Wagner Show on Instagram and Twitter today.
Hey, this is Ray Powers. And if there's one thing you can count on in these unpredictable times, it's that you're in good hands getting some great radio, courtesy of The Mike Wagner Show.
We're back with author M. Ward Leon of Beacon Publishing with the book The Strange and Curious Cases of Roscoe Brown and Blood of the Beast here on the Mike Wagner Show. And just a few more here with M. Ward Leon. I mean, you've been absolutely fantastic. I love all your stories. And what can we expect from you in 2021 and beyond, Mike?
Well, actually, the next book is coming out in the next couple months. It's a sequel to Blood of the Beast. It's called Revenge of the Beast.
Revenge, interesting.
Yeah, and there's actually going to be a total of 4 books. This is number 2, and this is a continuation of some of the characters that go on, and now they have a professional organization, Nemesis, who they're going up against, and the acronym is WASP, W-A-S-P, and that stands for the Worldwide Affiliates of Safari Partners. And they've come up with a scheme to take the heat off of the professional trophy hunters and big game hunters and things like that, as they challenge the Monkey Wrench Gang to a 5-man death match on an island. The best 5 people from WASP versus the best 5 people from the Monkey Wrench Gang. They drop them off on a desert island. They turn it into a pay-per-view, and people could pay to see this battle between the two forces. And it's winner take all. There can be no survivors on one team. The one team has to be the last man standing. And if the WASP wins, the Monkey Wrench Gang stops hunting the big game hunters. They continue to go after the poachers, but they stop going after the big game hunters. If the Monkey Wrench Gang wins, the WASP people have to stop big game hunting. So it's a winner-take-all blood death match. So that's what Revenge of the Beast is all about.
That is amazing, Mike. And when can we expect the book to come out?
I believe in the next couple months.
Wow, amazing.
Yeah. And then I have a sequel to Roscoe, which should be coming out maybe next year sometime. And I've got 5 or 6 other books floating around. So I've been busy. Especially during the pandemic, you know.
And just like a Volkswagen Rabbit, just keep going and going and going. That is so amazing, yes. I'm certainly looking forward to have you on again soon and keep us up to date. You're absolutely amazing. We're here with author M. Ward Leon from Beacon Publishing here on the Mike Wagner Show. And just a couple of things. Who do you consider biggest influence in your career, Mike?
I would have to say Bill Bernbach, the man who, the creative director of Doyle Dane Bernbach. His policy was it has to be creative or we don't show it, and so it really brought out my ability to be creative and free thinking, and the other one is, I guess, would be one of my favorite authors is Carl Hiaasen. The way he writes stories and tells stories and comes up with wacky ideas, I just love the freedom of being creative.
That is so amazing. I mean, I got a lot of great ideas from you, too. And what's the best advice you can give to anybody at this point?
I would just say you just got to do it. Just jump into it. I had dozens and dozens and dozens of refusals and turned down on Blood of the Beast, and all it takes is one guy to believe in you, and that's what Beacon did for me. They believed in me, and I can't thank them enough, because they really trusted me, and that's all you need. You just got to be persistent, believe in yourself, and if you do that, I think you'll make it.
And that's very amazing as well, too. Once again, we're with author M. Ward Leon of Beacon Publishing with the strange and curious cases of Roscoe Brown and also previously Blood of the Beast here on the Mike Wagner Show. Mike, a very big thank you for your time. You've been absolutely fantastic. Looking forward to having you again soon. Just keep us up to date. Love to have you back. And once again, tell us about your upcoming projects. What's your website? How do people contact you? Where can people purchase or check out your books?
Well, again, Amazon.com. It's on Audible. It's on Kindle. Or you can go to any bookstore, and they might not have it on the shelf, but they sure as heck can order it for you. And you can go to my website, mwardleon.com. And like I say, I will personally autograph the book for you. And I donate a percentage of all my sales to the World Wildlife Federation.
And that's very amazing. Once again, M. Ward Leon of the Mike Wagner Show. Mike, a very big thank you for your time. You've been absolutely amazing. Looking forward to having you again soon. Do us a favor, keep us up to date. Love you back on in 2021 and beyond. And don't forget to keep in touch. You've been absolutely fantastic. Learned a lot from you.
Thank you, sir. My pleasure, and I look forward to coming back anytime.
Hey, everybody. My name is Forbes Riley, and I'm an American actress and a TV host. And I was delighted when I got my copy of Missing, which is Extraordinary Relation of Ordinary People based on a real-life relationship. It's well written. It's amazing. It talks about a man who has lost his wife and his daughter, and it's very well done. I'm going to highly recommend that you go get your copy of Missing. It is a powerful, exciting read. Mr. Mian Moshe Zia. He is the author of Missing. And I want to give a big shout out and a kiss all the way halfway around the world to my dear friend. Check him out at Mia's website. It's called www.miamotionzea.com. Missing, available on Amazon. Again, I'm Forbes Riley, and I will see you again soon. Bye-bye.
The Mike Wagner Show is powered by Sonic Web Studios. If you're looking to start or upgrade your online presence, visit www.sonicwebstudios.com for all of your online needs. Sonic Web Studios specializes in custom web design, app development, social networking, search engine optimization, domain registration, email marketing, online stores, and more. Since our birth, we have been designing and developing immaculate websites and providing web solutions which are a cut above the rest. As a leading web designing enterprise, we have a team of extremely talented web designers who are well-focused and have the experience of working on multiple web developing platforms such as PHP, Magento, Custom WordPress, and more. Sonic Web Studios has been helping businesses of all kinds, whether big, small, established, or startup, impress their audiences with exemplary web solutions. We don't just create beautiful and functional websites. We give you a complete online solution with the main goal of enhancing your yearly revenues. We aim to give your business the online exposure and brand acknowledgement that will help you in achieving increased conversions leading to profitable sales. Call 1-800-303-3960 or visit us online at www.sonicwebstudios.com to get started today. Mention the Mike Wagner Show and get 20% off your project. Sonic Web Studios. Take your image to the next level.
Thanks for listening to The Mike Wagner Show, powered by Sonic Web Studios. Visit online at sonicwebstudios.com for all your needs. The Mike Wagner Show can be heard on Spreaker, Spotify, iHeartRadio, iTunes, YouTube, Anchor FM, Radio Public, and themikewagnershow.com. Please support our program with your donations at themikewagnershow.com. Join us again next time for another great episode of The Mike Wagner Show.